I can't imagine why Artie Moreno would let Shohei Ohtani go. I can't imagine why you would let one of the greatest players of all time go to New York. But God, Rich would be so excited to see Judge and Ohtani playing together. Michael, can you imagine what that would be like for you calling those games all the time? Because you spent time with Ohtani, and Judge being who he is. I mean, I can't ask you to look into the crystal ball like the old stereotype or the cliche of Can you imagine that, Michael? But just watching these two players, the possibility of him playing New York is so delicious. I can't even think about it.
It would be unbelievable, and I'm sure that Steve Cohen, the owner of the Mets, thinks the same thing. I don't think Artie Moreno is going to let him go or trade him. I think it's going to be up to Shohei Ohtani. Does he want to stay in Anaheim and maybe not make the playoffs? I mean, he could look at Mike Trout and go, do I want to do that? And Mike Trout, as great as he is, one of the greatest ever, has played in 3 playoff games in his career. I think that Moreno will give Ohtani anything that he wants because they make a lot of money off him off the field as well. But it'll come down to the fact, does Ohtani want to leave? Does he want to go to a situation where he knows he's going to contend every year? And does he want to go to the East Coast when it comes to the Yankees and the Mets? Because the Yankees were really in on him when he was coming over from Japan, but he wanted no part of the East Coast. Has that changed? If it's changed, even if it hasn't changed, Suzy, it'd be very wise for him to say it's changed because you don't want to eliminate the Yankees and Steve Cohen from driving up the bidding. But, Judge and Ohtani, that would be theater. That would be Broadway for sure.
By the way, shout out to Aaron Boone for his fantastic gum toss the other night. By the way, vintage Boone.
Great spin rate.
That was fantastic. It reminded me of the old days, I have to say. I got a kick out of that. And by the way, when you see that Boone will argue over one thing one night and not argue the next night, I mean, that's when you kind of know that Booney tips his own when it comes to how he feels about a player's performance, huh? Whether it's a gum toss or not.
Well, I think he was really angry because I think there was a stat that we had yesterday. We never got to use it because the game was so crazy. Since he came into the big leagues, Aaron Judge has had 435 strikes called on balls that were out of the strike zone on the low end. And the next closest in that time had 280. So I don't think the umpires have really adjusted to the fact that he's 6'7", and they don't call that low pitch the right way on him. And I know it's always burned Boone a lot, and he ended up getting tossed. And when he's really angry, he does go and get rid of the gum. So I think the whole Yankee organization is saying, why can't you call that low pitch right on this guy? It should be at the hollow of the knee, and they're calling it around the shin, which is a tough pitch for him to hit.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.